And we are live.
Ooh.
Hello, everybody. My name is Egil Hansen. This is Steven Giesel, and we will be doing some live coding on bUnits
We hope
today.
so.
I think we have some. We do have issue waiting from last week. We started on, and you did some additional work, or at least pushed a branch, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly, right? So yeah,
yes, I created a branch. So I can also share my screen. I guess that shall
yeah.
be easier. Let me. No, not slides. I don't have prepared slides. So that is. I always press the wrong buttons. So I do hope you can see my screen. At least it
I
tells me
can.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we were struggling with where's that test I created? With a test where we wanted. So it was all about the supply from query and supply from forms parameter,
Mhm.
which changed slightly with .NET 8. Not so much for a user, but more for how we should treat that
Yep.
attribute. And what I did is basically all the occurrences of our. So in the last session, we basically removed the test renderer from the DI container towards the test context base. And what I did off stream is fixing basically all tests. And that was kind of straightforward because the only thing I had to do was everywhere where there was a test renderer pulled from the container, I basically almost always pulled the test context base from the container, or the test context base was already around, and I could just pull out the test runner from there. That was straightforward. I guess only on one occasion I really had to do a hard cast, but as was internal implementation logic, I found I was quite okay to do so. That
Mhm.
said, where we are or where we wanted to go is we wanted to offer basically, as far as I remember, a new overload in our component parameter builder, which allows us or the user to set the query parameter. And then afterwards, we can also do the same for the form parameter. I still have this test around, but God, did we knew it get required service? I do not know how we pulled this out. Is it this one? No. Let me
Oh, yeah,
let
yeah.
me
Now I remember. So the whole thing was that we stopped having the. Did we change so we don't have the renderer in the services container anymore?
exactly. So that
Yes.
it will be created here. This is the
Yes.
line where the thing is created. It's an abstract
Mhm.
method, which then gets implemented by the test context. Um,
Mhm.
the reason we have this is we in V1 at least we split between core and web. The test
Yes,
context base lives
because
in core because we don't
I
want to
thought,
have this. Yeah.
yeah, and the whole reason why there is even something called core and something called web was that I thought there might be a bUnit.mobile or bUnit.flutter or whatever. So back in the days, Steve Sanderson was experimenting with many different renderers, um, so that you could basically use the abstract component model from Blazor and render out multiple different things. And there were one experiment called the mobile Blazor bindings, which were essentially outputting Xamarin, I think Xamarin forms. I can't remember the name of it. And I wanted to make sure that the sort of the core bits of bUnit core only doesn't know anything about HTML. It's all about just the the hooks that we would need as for bUnit to hook into the whole Blazor renderer and runtime. For bUnit version 2, we'll just drop all of that noise because it turns out it's just web. so I forgot the good old Yagni, you ain't gonna need it rule, and created a whole bunch of, let's put it mildly, inconvenient abstractions that we don't really need. So
Yeah.
anyway, end of backstory. Do continue your thought.
Yeah, so I was just opening here quickly my browser. So I know it's maybe a bit too small. I'm just going through the changes. So I know that we don't want to have this one in the future. So we will delete this. I'm just, trying to remember what we did last session a week ago. I do know that we started out our journey with, just trying to add the cascading parameter attribute base and to just do some weird casting to get the content. And I just put it into the render tree and hope it worked. But yeah, it didn't work. Which brought us to this whole navigation manager thingy, which is responsible for supplying the query parameters. This is this beautiful bit, which also costed us like 30 minutes of stream time just to figure out why we're getting an endless loop. That
Oh
said,
yeah, good
I mean,
fun.
from the Blazor's point of view, that makes absolutely sense that the navigation manager is responsible for providing query parameters. That makes sense. It is part of the routing. Every other framework like Angular or whatnot, they also do it like that. So that makes sense. But what I'm looking for is we wrote a test. I do found the test. That's awesome. It's exactly this one. Okay. Let's go back to
Yeah,
this one
so I
because
do
it was
remember this. The idea was that there is a lightweight approach where we basically say that the first level of support for this is that you, as the test user, pull out the navigation manager, you go to the URL with the query and add the query parameter to the URL you want and navigate to it as you see in the test on screen here. And then you render your component, and then the query parameter gets passed to your component's parameter. So I guess ideally, and I haven't decided really yet, but I think ideally you wouldn't need to do the first 3 lines there in the test. You could just pass in parameters like you normally would. And then we would have to figure out a way to basically have a special purpose built navigation manager that only is used by our so the whatever hooks we have into passing in parameters to a Blazor component. Now, it turned out most of the time last week was spent us just trying to figure out what options do we really have, like what can we do, what do we have access to. So, and it turned out most of the things that we need to hook into was internal, so we couldn't do a lot there.
That's true. Yeah. But we can do. I mean, we can try to make this work, and then we can think about having a fallback. So
I think the
would
first step is to have a solution, and that's just relying on navigation manager. So if we start by getting that to work, then I think that's a good start. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, and the question is, which API service do we want to have for that? Because that really drives how we would implement that.
Well, I think the API service we're looking at right now is fine. If you remove that PS P add parameter P to query, you've like just that test there, that should be the minimum, because that essentially, we are mirroring what the real runtime does. It gets the data from the navigation manager. So naturally, in a test, your arrange step would be to navigate to to a page where you basically get UI with query parameter, and then you set the query parameter and you set it that to test. So did that test work?
Yeah, that you can see it here. That's still green. I can just run it again. That said, I mean, the easiest to make this work is just hide this behind the convenient function we offer for the user. So you see, that thing is green.
Yes. So I guess we can so there's two, and we have two things here we have to think about, because we have obviously the render component method that takes a component parameter builder, component parameter collection builder, and that sort of has that fluent build out the parameters style to it, strongly typed and all the good stuff that comes with that. But we also have I'm writing my test in eraser component scenario, and I wondered, do the Razor compiler just figure something out if you just try to pass a value directly to a supply from query parameter? Can you actually just do that directly in a Razor component without having it be, you know?
Okay, so let's do it. Huh? Let's create. Do we have already tests here? Unfortunately, that's not good core. I do think it's fine if I just edit here for the time being.
I think so. Yeah, that's fine.
Supply from query test. Query test. Okay. Yeah, I don't care now. We want to inherit from our test context. And I do think we need another component.
No, we can use the same component. That should be fine.
Okay.
Oh, it might be internal to the test class you were in before. So if that's the case, you can refactor it out to the test assets.
I could not understand why. Writer, please fix. If I press follow that, you should follow that. Just look away for a few seconds. No, the test class. The test class is probably. I don't mind. So we have our test. Sorry. Fact.
Do Writer have a live share?
I do think they have. I'm pretty certain I disabled that. Wait.
I was just wondering if I could party in your editor as well.
Probably. The thing is that this. Wait. Here, settings or live share. Live edit is that feature? Ooh, probably not. I do think they have something similar as a plugin.
Oh, but they don't have the same thing.
I don't think so. Okay, I have to refactor that out to its own component. Can I say move to? Move to?
They have something called Duckly. How to start pair programming with Writer.
The file. It should work. So anyway, let's remove this partial class around here. Remove this one. The .NET 8 is still fine. That is true. That said, let's go back to the test. Same test again. We just want to cross check if it's working. We have our cut, which is render. And now we have the supply from parameter component. Oh, look at this. And this one, first like that. And how did we call that parameter?
I think it's called query.
You see, it doesn't offer. Wait.
Try forcing it.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I want is from the.
Are you sure it's because it's a nested class, so maybe it's not seeing the? No, you don't.
No, it's not nested anymore. It's not nested anymore. I completely removed it. It was nested, but
fair enough.
I'm pretty certain that there are issues if I do that with our analyzers.
Yeah.
And this should be test, huh? That would be the basic test we want from a user's point of view. And if I run that, now the question is, does that, you see there, no. Tab or namespace, interesting. Okay, that is fair. Where is this component living? Can you please not do that? Let's just stick to .NET 8. This lives in, it should see that. That is interesting.
It's because you haven't. No. The problem is it's running in Netcore free app. So this is a .NET 8 test only. So you need to have what's it called? Like can you even do that in Razor fast? I think you can. The
code you should be able to.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's good enough for us.
I'm short before removing GitHub Copilot again. So, okay, that should do the trick. If I compile now our solution, hey, why is it trying to build this for .NET 6? Unexpected name. That should not happen. Yeah, I do know that's an unexpected name, but you should also only compile that if this is not at 8 or greater. I do think it doesn't work like that, huh?
Maybe you need to clean out. Maybe it's sort of left around. It still has some.
Let's build everything from scratch.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I also never ever was in need of compiler directives inside my Razor code.
No, you're
that's
usually
also new.
stuck with one type, one framework per Blazor application. But
Exactly. Why do you want to have I mean, obviously, if you are library maintainer, component library maintainer, that might look a bit different. But so that's this building. It's still bUnit Web, which is we might want to tackle this in the future, or I might want to tackle this. You have a beefy CPU. Mine is struggling hard.
well, yeah. What version of did you not have? I thought you had a, what was it?
I have an M2
Apple
Pro.
M2. That
Yeah,
should be able
exactly.
to.
I do not know what the limiting factors. Okay, so anyway, for .NET 7, found market with expected. Yeah, that is fine because you should not compile. I feel like
It's
it
because
doesn't.
it's exiting. Yeah, it doesn't. As soon as you have that @ sign, it's probably not looking at the if directive anymore.
Yeah.
How can we? Well, what about, because I believe the parameter is also it works differently in .NET.
7 and before,
Yeah,
and
yeah. But it just remove the limitation just in the component itself that you're testing. Just remove that, and then go back to the component and just remove the name. I think it should still work, right?
that's true. The only thing might come around. Oh yeah, we're on .NET 7 right now. That's not complaining. That is good. What do you want? Attribute type name could not be found. Well,
Okay,
that could very
so
well be they introduced it with .NET 6.
yeah, so just do an if diff around that attribute in yeah, just yeah, next 6. Yeah, exactly. And
Good.
oh, the joys of having to support multiple
But then
type
this will also
frameworks.
not work for .NET.
Oh, okay. So just put the if diff around the parameter. Sorry, not the parameters. No, of the attribute. So go back to the component again, and just just move that down to a line below that bit there. Yeah. So
Sneaky. I mean, he will still complain because you don't have a public parameter. You cannot do this.
no, but I don't care.
I thought at least we get warnings. Oh, interesting.
Okay, so
That said, let's go back to your unit test session. Here's my.
I'm going to put you over next to me again. There we go.
Hello. Ah, yeah. Sorry, I just
No, that's me. That's clicking around and
so,
doing
but
things.
as we can see, let me wait before I do some weird shit. Let's go to .NET 8 only. I don't care basically for the others because .NET 7, 6, 5, whatever, they do work anyway differently. So I don't want to test against .NET 6 now. And the query blah, blah, blah cannot be explicitly because it only accepts cascading values. Yeah, that's true. It is a cascading value. That's how this parameter is defined with .NET 8. That's the shift. So for folks joining in now and don't have the what we talked about last stream, basically what they changed is the supply from query exists since .NET 6. That's true, but they changed in .NET 8 that it's a cascading parameter rather than a like normal parameter you can just set like we did. It's not a component parameter. So obviously they are complaining here, which, well, it do make sense because if you try this with size, that should also not work if I do that. That's literally the same issue, just differently shaped.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, yeah, you cannot refer people to do Razor test files to make it work.
But there is I guess you could just add a cascading parameter.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Wrap it in a cascading parameter. No, you want to do it inline.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hang on, somebody's at the door.
Escalating value of string, I guess I want to have. That is name is query values test. Yeah. T is string. Oh God, how was this type thingy? Type T value string. So sorry. Oh God, I cannot write at all. What can I resolve simple test? No, this is a string. You should not resolve it like that. Anyway, we'll see in a second if this is working or not. And then this, and then it should automatically get that. Okay. What did I do wrong? Cannot be that difficult. T value. Okay. So the idea is just to wrap our component in a cascading value. I do believe it doesn't work. The thing is that we tried this the last sprint just with our manual code. Let's see. Okay, this is the name test of this cascading value. How do I Blazor? This type param? God, I didn't use Blazor in such a long time. Only doing Angular nowadays.
Okay.
Oh God, type param? No, wait. You have to help me out. I don't use Blazor anymore in my projects when I'm working. It's just private. The heck? How do I want to give cascading value? I want to say it's type of string.
You don't have to specify the type.
But then he says like he doesn't know test, which is arguably wrong because it's a string.
Maybe do an @ sign in front of it. And just have it.
But now you want to have it. You want to make like this. No.
Yeah, like do an @ sign, then a string, or just define a variable called input or whatever out there, and you can just reference that, because then you can also reference that down in your assertion. Const, Steven.
Yeah, that's not const. You don't like const?
No, that's fine. I'm just teasing.
So now at least he understands. But I wanted to pass in a string. It's really just a long time I used that. Let's go.
You probably want to fix the query. You can, if you scroll, I think you're still passing it, aren't you? Further down.
What you mean?
No, did you remove it over in the supply from query parameter? Like, you're just passing it as a cascading parameter, or are you still passing it as the other thing as well?
I only pass it as supply parameter from query. Or what you mean? I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing.
I just can't see to the all the way to the right. You can't see if you break it into. You can actually break it into multiple lines. So you can just it works with, you can just wrap it. Yeah. So
how?
No, it's fine. Just put a line break there. That works. Yeah, it doesn't care about that. Okay. You can even have it look all pretty and stuff.
Yes, perfect. Can you please stay on .NET 8? Thank you very much. Then here are my tests. That test is .NET 8. So let's run the unit test. Yeah, no. That was more or less the expected picture, because this is literally what we tried last week with our manual approach of setting this in our parameter builder. But that's the same thing. We just do the same thing. So at least it behaves somewhat.
Oh yeah, that's right. We couldn't just. That's the weird thing, though. So it is a cascading parameter, but it doesn't allow us to pass in a cascading parameter. That's right.
Because it looks for this, how's it called?
It has to be a
weird
special
interface. This internal interface it looks for, and because it isn't there, it looks for someone who's implementing that, and in the real Blazor application, that's the navigation manager.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that. So a solution that we come up with that will work for the C# version of a test should also work about the same here. I am wondering if an easy shortcut for now is to just add some helper methods to the navigation manager, so it isn't a
Would be the
free.
easiest right now. Or let's go to the test context. I just make it very easy now. Yeah, I don't say it's a great way, but if we are, I mean, the easiest would be something like that, where we say like add query parameter. You can even argue from T component where we have the builder. I don't do this right now, but you know
no,
what I
yeah,
mean.
not in test context. That's not the right spot. I think. No, because test context is global, right? So,
that's true. You have shared state, especially if you use something like MS test and unit over multiple things. That might not be ideal.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm more. Yeah, but test context is the common thing between the Razor version and the C# version of writing a test, right?
The problem is that you don't have any hook to know when a test is done. Yeah, that's.
Well, usually the test context is disposed after each test run if people are doing what we recommend.
That's fair. That's fair. Also, then you get, if you do that, you should get a new container and whatnot. So
yeah, I guess it's sort of. We also have the root render tree parameter on a test context, right? That allows people to basically add cascading parameters and other things that are always there, right? I believe it's in the base. Then you have render tree, and from there you can go and say, I want to add a bunch of cascading values that should always be there. I am not a fan of the name render tree, and it might be something I'm not sure even how much is used in the real world. So it might be sort of one of those Yakni things crimes I've committed in the past.
My issue, if we would add this here, is that it feels very misplaced, because if you have something like supply from query, even if we rename that thing not to render tree but something like root render, doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with navigation, and therefore it feels misplaced that you do something with query parameters from that object.
Do you mean from the navigation manager? Or from
No,
the
sorry, I mean no, from the root render tree. If we would add a mechanism here so that users can use the supply from query parameter, it feels very odd.
I agree. I think it's closer to what we want by having it be through the navigation manager, because people are familiar with that. And conceptually, when you go to navigation manager in the Blazor app and say, go to, this URL with this query parameter, you are essentially doing that, right? You're navigating to a URL. So navigation manager is in a real Blazor production scenario representing what is currently the URL of the browser. So people are used to interacting with that. Now, if we go back to the test we had originally that you showed, the first test that does work right now, where we're using navigation manager to set where was it? That one there. Can we do something where we reduce down the
boilerplate code?
Those 3 lines to a single line?
Yes.
And that begs the question: should navigation manager be available on the test context?
Exactly,
directly?
that's also my question. And my gut feeling tells me it might be easier if we just offer an extension method on the test context. So you don't have to
like
expose.
a get. Yeah.
The thing is, we
Like,
would have to expose. There are like two ways. If we do it directly in the navigation manager, I mean, if you do it on the navigation manager of Blazor, which then you have to use an extension method anyway. And I'm not sure if we really wanna by default expose the bUnit one, but I guess it's fine. If you expose the bUnit one, you could argue, we just the service one can just expose like it exposes the renderer. You can just expose the navigation manager, our navigation manager.
yeah. But so yeah, we do have a renderer. We do have the JS interrupt that is exposed.
Like here, we would expose it on. Here, or this would be one possible scenario where we,
yeah. So yeah, we wouldn't new it up. We would go and pull it. Or rather, we might actually not go like we might do what we do with JS interrupt just above. We new it up in there and then we inject it in. But I do
that
think
leads to other issues. Because if the user gets it from the, if the user in this moment gets it in his test, also uses the navigation manager, he will not see the query parameter if we new this up here.
Yes. So sorry. If you go and just new it up there and go further down to the constructor, just.
I can use this.
No, you would do it in the constructor. You can't because it's an instance. You have to instantiate that. So go down to the constructor just below, and do that there. What you want though is you want to probably move that above the add default test context services, and then go into that method add default test context services. And in here, we are adding the fake navigation manager as well. Now here, you would, instead of adding that, you would just pass in the, no, not that. You have the context already that you pass in from above the method.
Yeah, that's not this. I was looking for exactly that. But as a test context base, which is not anymore. Choose. And then here the navigation manager.
Yes.
That might be a breaking change now. I mean, obviously, people are not using that, hopefully. Well, we changed from test context base to test context because otherwise I don't get the navigation manager.
Yes,
but I mean, who's using that method? I mean, that sounds stupid, but who's using that method?
That's probably should have been internal anyway.
Yeah, probably, but the effort to make it correct. Fair enough. Let's make this one work, and then we can check easily if really someone is using that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So I appreciate why Microsoft the Blazor team is making all of that things internal.
Yeah.
Now, I am not so. What we have now is that if people go and do, you might go to the everybody who's currently going and pulling out navigation manager using get required service or get service from the service collection will still get the same instance as we have here.
Yeah, I do like it.
But it could also just be that instead of doing this and having all of this breaking change thing, is that we could simply have an extension method on test context that has the name of well, then it gets into sort of what are we really working around here. But yeah, no, you could have, so that would be an alternative to have an extension method on test context saying, set query parameter.
Exactly, and it pulls out the navigation manager itself and do the trickery behind the scenes.
Yeah, I do still like, and I understand why it isn't there from the get-go from navigation manager from the Blazor team's point of view, but it would be nice to have an extension manager basically say something like set query string parameter, right? Because it's like right now you have a two-step thing. You have to first generate a new URL with the query string parameters in it, and then you have to assign that to, then you have to call navigate to.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So if you can have that as a one-liner saying basically like
Yeah,
set
it's just
which
it's an unrealistic use case in a real production app that you need exactly that.
not
When do
really
you
though.
need? You think
I
so?
think I've yeah no I'm the app I'm working on or we're
Because you
working
could
on
always use
at
relative
work.
paths, you know. You,
Yeah, but the app I was working on recently, where we use query strings quite a bit because we want them to be such that users can copy and paste a URL to a friend or colleague and say, "Go and have a look at
Mhm.
this. Why doesn't why does this look
Yeah,
like it does?" Then you, whenever you do something that, for example, if you're filtering a table or filtering some content or something, then you want to update the URL when you do changes to that. So there you basically do uh, navigation manager, get URL with query string parameter, and then you get a URL back, and then you do a navigation manager to navigate to. So yeah,
yeah.
it
Okay,
would be
fair enough.
nice also in production to have navigate to with query string parameters kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Ah,
okay, well,
good.
I guess
The
if you
question
go back,
is,
sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, the question is which route do we want to, or which path do we want to go down? There are these two. To be honest, I do like this more than the extension ones.
So my pushback here would be we are adding another we haven't adding the navigation manager, but what about other? So JS interrupt is certainly a specific thing that is to some extent fundamental to how Blazor works. Navigation manager too, but there are other, I guess, why not also add authentication state provider, right? um
Well, because that's true. In a real world application, you would get it from the DI container and not from some.
mm.
Yeah, that's true.
so
It lives in a
so
DI container.
yeah, all of them also JS interrupt listen. So but I'm just, so I want to make sure that there's a good reason why we are adding um the navigation manager, that it is more special than all the other first party services that comes with Blazor, if that makes sense.
Um, one reason I could tell you, I'm not sure if this is a good one, but if we create an extension method, so let's go back to the test. Where's my test? This one. The problem is if we have an extension method on test context, you always have to use this, or then like route to or whatever you use. It doesn't matter, probably not like that, but you get the idea. You cannot just write the route to because
No,
it doesn't
that's
exist.
annoying, but yeah, it has to be yeah. So
And
now we do have the option of saying navigation manager uh navigate to, right? Uh, and I would maybe like to include an overload that allows you to
mhm.
basically well, I guess you can do like just a string with a question mark and then the query equals test, right?
And then no, that's a good point. If we do this, should this be revealed in the is the called history we're keeping about the navigation history? So every time you call navigate to, or your production logic calls navigate to, we are keeping track of where you went and where you come from. So we have a stack of, like your browser, we have a stack of
Yeah,
routes.
yeah.
The thing is, do we want this here? Probably, because this is also what you have in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we have this navigate to when we make another overload, let's start here. Yeah, exactly. This one here, history entry state, but that's not what I meant. I meant it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. So I understand. So another point I think would be that um so the builder pattern we have for render component, where you have that where it's sort of strongly typed, and could we have something called a navigate to and then navigate to component, and then have a parameter selector like we do with
Yeah.
render component, but where we basically make sure that when you're trying to pass in a string to that query parameter or an integer or something else that's supported by query parameters, that it actually is a value like that you're passing in and not something that you have to convert to string first. And also deal with, and then for us that would also be dealing with that part would also deal with making sure that it's converted correctly to whatever type you need to convert it to have it passed through a UL, right? So it has to be UL encoded and stuff like that, and then it UL decoded on the other side. Now, and
You mean something like that, or?
Yeah, I guess something like that, like similar to what we had before. It just seems like Copilot was on the right path as well. Now,
easy. Should I check it into mine?
Yeah,
also with
let's
this
get that
beautiful, whatever that is.
Oh no, I think it might be something.
It's not that bad, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what a query helper here is, and I wouldn't use it that way because we have the navigation manager around. I don't see any reason to do this. I don't see. Well, this one. No, I don't see any reason to do all of 98% of the code I wouldn't use. I mean, this one I would use though. But yes, we should URL decode.
So
stuff.
I know we could also do something completely different. Well, okay, no. So if we were only really wanting to support this for, not for through Razor scaling parameters, but if we go back to the render component version where you do parameters to like where you where you basically, not this one but where you in line 168, oh no, 107 707, line 707, where you call render component, and there you want to pass a parameter to the query parameter. So
you mean like this?
Yes. Well, so we can capture some value. We can capture that value. And because I think, is it supposed to be a public method? A public parameter. Do the Razor or Blazor compiler complain if query isn't public, if it's just private?
I do think so. Like
So
with every cascading parameter, cascading parameters also have to be public.
No, actually they don't. They can be private.
Are you sure?
I'm quite sure, yeah.
Jesus, I moved this around. So if well, that might be, but I mean for the user that, yeah.
No, so my point was that it might be, and it might go against the argument that bUnit should behave as close to as possible to the how production works. But we could just render the component, and when the component is rendered and it's being returned out to the user, then we just go in to the instance property and actually set that thing, right? But that does open a bunch of challenges, because what if it's a nested component inside a component? Like, no, that doesn't work. We basically need to lean into the cascading, the special kind of cascading parameter type that we get from the navigation manager. So yeah, never mind. Sorry about the detour.
But we could keep track of that, don't we? I mean, at the end, what we need, there are two cases. You need something that, like a name and a value. That's all you need.
But I guess what you can also do, weren't that? I think if I go and have a look at the source for navigation manager, I believe it implements a public interface that we could also create our own public service for. So source navigation.
But you're right. I just saw here, like cascading parameters don't have to be public. You're right. Can also be protected. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is not a direct contract between child and parent components.
What was it again?
Also on a side note, if so, probably we will not go down that route where we say now we're not using the parameter builder, so we cannot say ps.add p to queries something. And as we cannot really do that, or it opens maybe too many doors, at least what we should do, but this is really secondary, is throw an exception if it is the case. So if we see that someone is using that with a supply from query parameter attribute, we should throw an exception that this is not supported behavior, because otherwise it's so hard to debug as a client.
So we do have. So there's another option we can take is that there's a cascading value source, which is an service, and I believe. Can you go back to the test example we had before? Just the one that one exactly, and remove all the on line 708.
Clutter.
Yes, and instead of doing navigation manager, no, it's fine. Just keep it. Yeah, that's public.
I don't
Private
like
doesn't
it.
matter. I think. Yeah.
Sorry.
So if you comment out the navigation manager bits and instead new up a cascade. So we need to inject a new thing into our service connection. We want to inject a cascading value source of type string.
I cannot write. Scanning value source. That sounds lovely.
String, and that would be of.
What does it want?
It wants name, so that would be the name of the parameter query, and the value it would be test. And if you add that to the services container, doesn't matter, I guess, but yeah, sure. Add singleton, I guess that's fine.
Why not?
I would want to do do add singleton instead.
Singleton?
Yeah. That's gonna be shared. It's fine. Now, if I understand this right, that should work as well. Because this implements cascading value supplier, which is also the thing that navigation manager implements, I believe. Might be wrong.
Let's see in a second. Drum roll. I need. Oh god. No, it does not. Okay. Or it has to be a certain interface. No.
So you can see that implements the cascading value supplier.
Wait. There's a mistake of mine. It shall be then this one. Probably doesn't pull out the instance.
Can supply value and cascading parameters set.
Can I do it open type? No, I can't do it open type. No.
I think you're right. No, it's not. It's not. It's not static. It's not.
Also the wrong one.
What I'm trying to say. Yeah, no, it is just. I think the interface is right, and you don't skip the lambda you have there. So just return CSV. You can just add there you go. Yeah, and it's cascading. No, it's not cascading value source. It's just cascading value source. Cascading value supplier.
Sorry.
But no, that's god damn it, that's internal. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's this one. We yeah, exactly. And this is the one pulled out from the container. Exactly. I mean, we can do some trickery probably and convince the container that this is some casting magic with reflection. But that sounds horrible. That sounds really horrible to go down that route.
Oh no, sorry. No. Here we go. You have a type. You have a method called add cascading value. That's what you need to do.
Where on what?
So on the services container, just call add cascading value.
Ooh, that is really fancy. And this is also internal, huh?
Nope. But that takes.
It wants if I have a factory.
Yeah, that's a bunch of overloads. So you can have one where you pass in a name and a value.
Do I have to pass in the name?
You have to pass in the name of the cascading value. There's a bunch of overloads. You can also.
That's weird.
If you make it generic, so you just pass in a string, and then you have to have a val. Yeah, I guess it just takes a func.
Yeah.
But you probably
the
want to pass
service.
in a name because you want to call the one that takes a string name and then a factory that generates the thing. So that would be
You don't
query,
even need it.
and it would just be an I don't want no, just return test, right? No, just delete line 706. I don't believe that's needed. Yeah, just return test, the string test.
It
That
wants
is.
to, does it?
Yeah, because that is
I do understand where you're driving at.
Because that will
not do it.
That will not do it though.
Wait, that is still called query? What if, just for the sake of completion, let's name that thing really query? I don't know. It shouldn't, it should not interfere, but I just want to make it as explicit as possible, and from there on, we can make it more complex.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find
obviously.
the code again. Cascading parameter state. There was it in?
That's really what we did in this Wellness factory, and it's fixed. Okay, fair enough. I do not understand why this is then not used. And our
So we have a supply parameter value,
but isn't now? Don't we have now the issue that our renderer is disconnected from the service container?
No.
Oh no, it's not, huh?
No,
We
all the
still give
other
it.
you would have a whole bunch of tests that would be blowing up
Yeah,
if
fair
that was
enough.
the case.
Oh, we have a great. I'll just show that. Oh, I can't see it. There's a nice comment. Hi, it sounds like you are testing external code. Can't your component initializer just set the parameter regardless of what attribute it has at the .NET team tested parameter? The problem is that, yes, you could just set it on the instance. That might do the trick. And this is the current workaround.
Yeah, that would just
That is the
do
current workaround.
cut, and then you do instance.query equals to something. But
the problem is
participate. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. This for the simplest scenario where you have just one component, that does the trick. But imagine you have a parent component which does not, or it has no intention to do anything with the query parameter, but your child component does. And then you cannot, you have to write setup codes in bUnit just to make that work. While in the real world, it works just out of the box. That's the main issue. When you set something on the instance, first, you don't re-render that thing. So you always have to remember, re-render your component. That might lead to some pitfalls. And the second one is if you have multiple components down in your component tree, not everyone is capable of receiving that query parameter. And that's the current limitation.
Yes. No. Yeah. So it's the solution or the issue we're trying. You can maybe pull that issue up from in your browser. So just put some kind of like what we're really trying to do is to enable a test scenario, and unfortunately,
but it's a good question though. Good thought.
Yeah.
So exactly. So what the user has is just, and here the simple approach would work. I'm totally with you here. He has just this component where he just wants to print out what's coming in via this supply parameter from query. As you can see, he even tried our solution, but obviously because we never supplied the value supplier in the service container, because we did basically the same. But because we are missing one of the DI components, it didn't work for the user.
Yes, but yes, that would, yeah. So we are at a stage where that works right now, but it's yeah, it's a bit ugly, honestly.
Yeah.
Now I keep coming back to
And also right now for the user, if he would add this DI thing we added in our test containers, so how was it called? God, I forgot this name. Ads. Was it? Where was it? This add supply
It
thingy
was in the
thingy.
default. It was in the default services.
No options. No, that's not right. Is it this one? Oh, it is this one. Default server. No. Darn, where did I add? You know what?
But also the component initializer. So to get back to that question, really, the thing is the component initializer. It's not us. It's the Blazor runtime that actually instantiates the component, and the whole point, a central point of bUnit is that we don't want to break the life cycle of a regular component as it would be used in production. So how so we can't really go in and manually assign, those special types of cascading parameters outside of the normal lifecycle method, because that's going to lead to some weird behavior where the user will have uninitialized unparameter set on after render, but that might happen before or after we actually get to assign the value. So in reality, what we really want, and if I just go ahead and steal the screen share real quickly.
Feel free.
Yes.
Add supply value. Now you unfortunately, I found it. Just for the sake, for my own completion, it's called
okay.
add supply value from query provider. That's just the only thing I was looking for minutes straight.
So that's a new thing
it-
in .NET 8, because in .NET 8, the supply from query parameter property or attribute you can put on properties is now a cascading value base type. Now, the type you found there is actually, let's see, I cascading value supply. Unfortunately, if this interface was public, we would be able to do what we needed to do, but we can't. So what happens is that there is code in here, cascading parameter state, that will go in here and say, well, give me the matching component parameters, and it will say if this is so this is a point where in the code where Blazor will go and try to find cascading parameters, assign them to components, and it will, the component state is sort of the internal component tree representation of a component in the component tree. And here it'll say if this is a value supplier and it can supply whatever parameter we have here, but that's a cascading parameter info. I remember we had a long look at that last time and sort of decomposed it down. Otherwise, it will go up the stream. Otherwise, and if it fails to find anything, it'll go into the services container, and it will basically find something from there. Now, so that's why I was expecting it to work before with the add cascading parameter, because this will go in here, provide service provider cascading value suppliers, and it's essentially all the cascading value suppliers that we've added to the services container. Now, I am trying to remember why.
Didn't we get out of can supply? Wasn't that always false, and that's why the collection was empty?
Yeah, okay. This is actually part of the renderer now. So maybe there's hooks in here in the renderer that we can actually look at as well. This is in here.
Oh, that was just a follow-up question, if I can make it live for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the question is like, could we use something like render and then the URI with the render fragment? That is basically what we did in our first approach with a lot of extra steps. That's the basic idea. And what we want to do is basically make it more convenient from an API point of view, because writing 4 or 5 lines of code for this parameter versus 1 line of code for others seems weird. And it's error prone. You can make a lot of issue or errors if you don't get it right. So what we want is a nice surface that is somewhat like the other add methods or cascade, like it behaves like the other cascading parameters, without creating new pitfalls for users. So yes, the basic idea is exactly that.
Yes. So, but both in Razor or Blazor components tests, where you write your test in a Blazor component, and in a C# file where you use the render component method, the navigation manager approach that we have, while the bows, where you have to go and get the navigation manager and then set a URL with the query parameter in it, and then you can render the component, and then it will actually get the value, because that's essentially the only public hook that the Blazor team has left us with in terms of interacting with with the shit, I'm losing my train of thought here. For passing in data to a supply from parameter. And I'm trying to remember, because we looked at that last week, I'm trying to remember what was the reason why we couldn't use this and if we overlooked something. So essentially what you're doing when you're calling add cascading parameter, it's newing up one of these guys and it's getting passed down. Now I'm wondering, notify change. I'm wondering if this has the can supply value, and this might be the reason why it doesn't work. Let's have a look here. So it says, okay, so here we have it. Yeah. So cascading parameter attribute. So it if it's not a cascading parameter attribute, or if the value, then it returns false. So our parameter info attribute is it is not a cascading parameter attribute. It is a supply from query parameter attribute instead. So that's why it immediately returns false. Now, unfortunately, we can't implement our own version of this type, so that we can't have a custom supplier from query parameter or value supplier type, because this one is internal, and there is basically only two types that's cascading value, and it has the same can supply. It has to be a cascading parameter, otherwise it won't party with us. And if we have a look in the where was that supply from query parameter provider, you can see this guy is the thing that actually does what we needed to do. That's internal as well. It implements the can cascade parameter supplier. It takes navigation manager, and when it's asked if you can supply, it says, well, if it's applied, there we actually have a check we want now, and get current value, and it'll go and pull that out of the navigation manager based on the URL. So we are sort of, I think, I have to remind myself, but we're back to, this is basically the only way we have right now, because certain types are internal as far as I can tell. Unless we start going into generating types with reflection that can implement. And
well, I don't know. There's another way we could go down, but I'm not sure if this is.
I will have to just quickly go over to. This is how, by the way, I created my.
Don't tell our secrets here.
Oh yeah, that's how I did my splash screens. Yeah, exactly. But let's ask. So
what is that GPT?
So you can create, if you have a paid subscription.
I never did this. Is it really?
So basically, I just give it an instructions, because I always thought, ChatGPT, when you're asking a question, it's super verbose. It gives you long-winded answers. So I'm just saying, hey, you're talking to a senior developer. Just get to the point already. That's basically the initial prompt. So I saving a bit of work here now. So I would like to implement a type that in
I
Okay,
see ourselves
that's
in castle proxies. In 5 minutes, we are at castle proxies. The other idea
yes.
the other idea which came to my mind is
Internal
that we could
interface
utilize.
from
Sorry,
the
write your
.NET.
stuff.
Oh, sorry, I'm just
No. Like we could.
vertical SDK. How can I do that? Let's see. I can't remember. I guess that is sure. Well, I'm probably not going to give us an internal visible too, but it would be nice if we got a.
We
Got
can
one.
ask.
Yeah.
You can ask. Like, can you just
Should
add
we send a
internal
PR into?
unit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe that's why. We are like we tried really hard to make it work. It didn't. So here's our PR. Just
Yeah.
someone just for the sake of trolling would just accept that from the .NET team. I would like that. I mean, the problem is that it probably would be hitting even. I mean, of the slight off chance of 0.01% that they do that,
Okay.
that
I'm
might
just
probably .NET 9.
Yeah. We will be. So yeah. So create
Oh,
a
boy,
type that implements this internal interface from the .NET Core .NET 8 library. I want to see it do it. Do your thing.
While it's generating stuff, the other idea we could do, and
Mhm.
still have somewhat the same API service as now, is we could utilize source code generators for that. Keep all the ads which are supplied from query parameters in the list, and then invoke, generate all the boilerplate code via source generators. That might be another option we could do. Wait, what is he doing? That doesn't work. He's directly inheriting from an internal interface.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if ChatGPT is capable of that.
Oh, Emily, don't assume we cannot use internal visible to. Is there another way? Yes, show me the reflection.
Yeah. It's just super verbose. Oh, at
Yeah.
least it creates code now. Oh.
Yeah. I'm never this naughty in my professional life using reflection as much, so it's always nice to have.
Okay. Because can I help her?
So if we could register a type in
The container that does that for us instead of the navigation manager.
so I think you can actually with bit of get type internal and stuff like that. I think you can do a registration without having access to the real type just by passing in the a type of the type T.
Well, but we still have to inherit directly from that. The
Yeah.
metadata still has to.
You need to basically you need to have, and there has to be the right. I think it's because it's signed. You can't just. I don't see code here that actually.
Yeah, a lot of exceptions I do see though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's
well, what it
still
does is it wraps the it's a convenient reflection wrapper around the interface, but that doesn't mean we really implement that interface in a strongly typed language like C#. So I am certain that way doesn't work.
Nope. Let's let me share your screen again instead.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, my idea was like we could utilize source generators, get everything where you use add, get them together and create the query parameter and invoke the navigation manager itself. But probably we don't need this that way, huh?
I no, it's overkill, honestly.
Probably.
For the people that need to test this particular case, I think using navigation manager, because all the plumbing is already there, that's fine. We just want to decide whether or not we want to make it less verbose. Like, do you have to do a get required service and a fake navigation manager and then navigate to and all of that, like we have in that example? I am honestly fine with just having it like that. Maybe if our friends in the Blazor team would want to make that interface public for us, I supply cascading values, then we have an ability to actually go and do more things, right?
Yeah.
Because then we could we could have yeah, we could have something
Yep.
something differently. Then we could have our own. Then we didn't need to rely on the service we've added, the cascading value parameter service. We could have our own. I am wondering, can we cascading parameter state? No, it's, what was it called again? I want to see.
By the way, I know developers don't read so much documentation, but let me. God damn it! Here it is. By the way, written. If you just go over add cascading value and read the docs, it just literally says a cascading value, basically it's just the equivalent of having a fixed cascading value. So from the get go, we should have known that doesn't work.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But why reading documentation if you can just try and find out the hard way?
Sure. I feel slightly hung out to dry, but that's okay. Let's see.
It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did it last stream as well. But let me see. Here we go. I want to see. Oh, this is also internal. God damn it!
Everything is internal.
Yeah.
They don't.
So no,
really
I was. Yeah, and I completely understand that, because it's as soon as you make it public, you have to maintain it.
Everyone is using it.
Yeah, it's a breaking change. Yeah. So yeah, it's
folks like us are using it. Yeah, well, I guess, I mean,
okay, so there is a thing where we actually supply parameter from query value provider, where we basically go and find that in. So if we want to do, so let me steal the screen again. So this guy here, that's internal as well, right? But that's the thing that currently is doing our bidding for us. It takes the navigation manager and uses that to supply the parameter from query value, right? Now, that has been added to the services container because we have that call where we, and I'm pretty sure we can find it here as well. Yeah, the try add. This is add supplier. So we could go in, get the actual instance out. Once we have that, we can use reflection to maybe override, or not override, but so get current, get current value. Is there a set current value? So try update URI. Subscribe to location changes. So just using reflection, we could definitely go in and just query parameter value supplier. What could we do here? So the render will go and say can supply value, and if it is a supply parameter query attribute, it will say yes. Then it'll go and call get current value, and it'll get one of these in. Now, what does it do? It'll call try update URI. Try update URI. What does that do? It will new up query parameter value supplier. If that is then it
not set until now.
Yeah, I guess last UL. So it basically, if it's still the same as it was last time, then return false. Otherwise, get query string, query, then it does a few things.
You check if there's the same one as before, or better, it's not the same one as before.
Yeah, and basically it gets the URL, and then there's a whole compare using read-only memory comparison here. Oh, and here it goes query parameter value supplier, and it reads parameters from query. So if they are equal, the last one, we just return false. So if we go in here and set this guy, then when they say, where's that? Get current value, it'll try read the UL, it'll go attribute, it'll go find the parameter name, it'll go to this one and get the value out. So this one is obviously also internal, but I guess essentially get query parameter, that would be here. So we're calling this method get query parameter, we're passing parameter type, parameter name. So we go have a look at that. So get query parameter, it will do type query parameter. It'll ask if it's array or not. And does it store that anywhere? Query parameters values by name. Yeah, so yeah, so if we could basically go through reflection, a bunch of layers deep, go and add into this dictionary the values.
And hope it doesn't change over time so much.
Sure. Then it would work. I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
Sure.
Is it worth it? Because in theory, we could do this during the, but no. So yes, that would work if we're using the render component for the render component method, because we sort of strongly type out that, like we do that through there, and we have access to the parameters you're trying to set, and we can go use that information to go and say, oh, this is a query parameter attribute, your parameter you're trying to set, so go and do the whole magic. But this wouldn't work with the Razor component approach to writing, where you just type out render fragments. So no, I think cycling back, the navigation manager is the right approach for now. It's a bit verbose and it sucks, but
well,
yeah, well, maybe not sucks, but yeah, there's certainly so the decision is navigation manager, should we make that visible on the test context to have it easily accessible? I think
I'm leaning towards a yes.
Yes, I think it's safe enough to do. I think it's
something. And it's not the only scenario you can cover with that. So there is a lot you can do with a navigation manager. Yeah, also in older versions of .NET, like .NET 5, to make it a bit more convenient to access your browser history, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you compare that to, let's see, what else do we have? So zoomy here, code documentation, test doubles. So we have, that one is already exposed as just JS interrupt, faking authentication. So here the example is you go and say, well, we do have an extension method there, at test authorization. So that's not already there. So it's sort of a different story altogether, and you get something out as well. You get an auth context. HTTP client, that's a localization. We finally got around to actually having some documentation there. That's good work.
Well, the documentation was there.
Yeah, it just wasn't visible.
By a search it was.
Yeah. Input.
But yeah, no. If we also have a look at, yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
If we look at a bit of, I know that you shouldn't probably do that, but if we have a look at V2, what we did there and what we want to do there is that a lot of these extension methods are not extensions anymore. So this whole add authorization just falls flat, and you can just call add authorization.
Yes.
And if we keep this a bit in mind, I would prefer not to have an extension method on the
Oh,
context.
no, an extension method would not be what I would want either. The question is more, should we have a property called navigation manager and make the fake navigation manager or bUnit navigation manager available directly, or should it be something that you go and when you need it, you pull it out of the
Ah,
bUnit? And I guess one argument would be that what if a user overrides and have their own navigation manager? Then it's not the same anymore in the services container.
true.
So if you go back to, if you share your screen again, I think we decided that that would be an unlikely scenario for most folks to do for JS interrupt, that they would create their own, because we have a special purpose built, mock of JS interrupt. But and we do have a bunch of code that kind of expects ours to be around. But I guess we could just, if you go back to test context, we can just simply have a lazy pull that out of like from the navigation manager, pull that out the navigation manager. So it would be shorthand for services.get required service dot navigation manager or fake navigation manager. Or well, in that particular case, it would actually have to be the navigation manager and not fake navigation manager. So the return type of your property would be that.
But
Now,
then, well, okay, but still we would need an extension method on the navigation manager.
yes, if
Or
we
you
want,
hide this somewhere here at query parameter, whatever, you would have to hide it somewhere here. The bits that
but that seems to be mixing concerns a bit.
Yeah, I know. Just saying that
yeah.
if you expose just a navigation manager, I guess it makes sense, huh? Because the base navigation manager already brings a lot of the utility with it. In theory, we do not need our bUnit navigation manager to make it work.
Do we have any public methods, additional public methods on our fake navigation manager that isn't there?
We have public properties. We have the history stack and the history entry state, but it's also just a shorthand.
Yeah, so that's also yeah. So there are additional things that are not on the like the base navigation manager. That's the history one. That's really the only big difference we have, as far as I can tell.
And I thought also history entry. Yeah, I thought we exposed it as well. No, we don't. I'm sorry.
No, but no, that's part of the options that you pass when you want to navigate somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I thought we have a convenient wrapper to access it more easily, but I was wrong. Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
So we could certainly you could certainly have sort of a one-liner where you say services that get required service dot fake navigation manager or navigation manager dot, and then you would do dot navigate to, like, it would more or less be a quite generic extension method that combines the create URL with query parameter and navigate to into one, right?
Okay.
Or you could take it one step further and create a builder pattern where you explicitly say, I want to
have this URL
similar to what leave. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher that name. Like something. Well, it wouldn't be called render, right? But it would be called navigate to, and then the
you have the whole
component
builder
type. Yeah, and then you would have a builder like you have with render component where you can explicitly go and target and then get the right value and all of that. But I think for now,
exactly, for the simplest use case, probably you need we might support multiple query parameters, that's for sure. It should not only support one query parameter. But you could argue we can make maybe a builder is not that bad, to be honest. Because then it's an atomic operation. People shouldn't call navigation manager dot whatever multiple times to make a scenario work. I would like that they called it only once. So I do think the approach, having something like a builder, might not be the worst.
Yes, but I'm also inclined to say Yagni, because .NET 8 has been out for what, a couple of months now, 4 or 5
Yeah.
months, and there's been one guy asking, "Hey, can I pass query parameters in?" So if we
Fair.
have, so we have a solution now that works without having a navigation manager property and test context and doing all of that stuff. And we have a way to do it. It is something where the user, an end user, can create their own extension method if they have a common scenario where they basically, so they could create an extension method on test context if they want, that basically say set query parameter, something like that, and that would basically go and do the 3 lines that you have, right?
Yeah. Just, I'm just cross-checking. So there are people using using multiple supply from this is a bit older code, but
Yeah, that was the
theory of
old version, and that would work with bUnit
that would
now.
still work, yeah.
And I also
just
think
wanna
in
say-
.NET 8 it works as well. You can just do parameters, right, and just set it as a parameter. So that would be a workaround.
Does
Right.
that work in production is the question. It works with bUnit. I'm not sure if Blazor itself.
I think it works in production. I think, but wait, let me just do a file new project and figure it out.
Yeah. So, for example, here, Bit Foundation, Bit Platform, they are having, and I know they are using bUnit for testing purposes. They are having sometimes supply from query with multiple properties.
But
so
you could see they also have parameter though there. They have both supply and parameter.
Oh, fair enough.
So create a new project.
It's odd that way. I would having
I kind of like it.
parameters.
Have it. Yeah. Well, I go back and forth, honestly.
It depends,
So,
because this distracts so much to me that I ignored the second one because I thought it's
Yeah.
just a parameter to the supply parameter from query attribute.
well, that's a fair point.
If you have
Now-
simpler ones where it's just words without additional properties, I'm with you. I would also go with having them in one line. It just reads easier. But yeah, it is how it is.
Yeah. Okay. Let me steal the screen and zoom in. Let's just verify that things work. Okay. So this is a file new project.
Can you make it a bit bigger? Like only as I don't know if you can make your solution explorer bigger, but that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think I can.
I guess this is not so important. The more important is that the
So now you can't see it. Now it's not in your way.
Easy.
Sorry, I have something stuck in my throat, so I need to cough all the time. So we have a component. And let's make it a razor.
No. I felt like I can just edit there.
I don't know. By the way, do you do this? So I do. I like to have the code bits above and then the.
No, I never did this. I mean, there are two ways. Either I have it in the code behind file, but then the argument, is obsolete. But if I have the inline, I wouldn't call it inline code, but code block, I always have it at the end.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have a supply and a parameter all together, and then we can add it in here. Component. Well, component, and I can do foo from parameter. Oh.
Can you go into your component before you?
Does not have a what? I literally just did file new project. Wanna try that again?
It doesn't work anymore. They just.
Is it simply because we have multiple of these? Let's just.
So this works, huh?
Yeah, that says. So this is the error message. Let me copy it up here so you can see it.
Raise compiler.
No.
Print this. Print. Yes.
Word wrap. Damn it. So the analyzer, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's the source generator references version of the compiler, which means a new
Do
currently
you, by
running.
any chance, have .NET 9 installed with some workloads?
Oh, I might have tried some, but it's like I literally was running a play. So okay, I'm going to say
Well, the problem is that
just
I tried that with .NET 9 Alpha 1, and it screwed up all the workloads, and I could also not create a new Blazor app. But I had so many issues that they had to really remove everything .9 related.
so this was the thing we were looking at just before the stream. My whole streaming to JavaScript example, and all of this, I can run this.
Do you have a global
No,
JSON in there?
what? The
You
name
cannot. That was a lie. I never saw
I,
that project. I
I
would
just ran
distance
it.
myself now from the lie you were spilling here.
All right, let me open Visual Studio Preview instead.
Yeah.
V
No, but you didn't have preview earlier. I don't know
Visual
anymore.
Studio Preview. Okay, I guess Preview will fix all the things.
Yes.
Maybe it's because I need to be running Preview and not the. Come on. All right. Run. Damn it. Build succeeded.
Really?
Sure. Okay, so yeah, it was a preview, non-preview thing, apparently. All right, well, doesn't matter. We can do a trial run here. So let me just create my component 1 in here again. And nope, wrong type. God damn it. Component 1, the razor. Come on. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, supply from, nope, from query, parameter, parameter, public string, true, get set. Ooh, okay, go to home and component 1. Now,
let's go.
let's fire up that
it
one.
does something.
Yes,
Awesome.
from parameter. Now, if I go and do foo equals query.
R.
Okay, what if I remove this guy again? And do we get a hot reload thing? Okay.
You get it.
Yeah, but so it prioritizes. If you have both, it takes the parameter, but if you so yeah, both can be used at the same time.
Okay,
now,
fair enough.
So I am fairly happy with not doing more than what we have right now, honestly, and saying we now have that option. We can even tell our issuer, I guess I don't know if that's the name, the guy that raised the issue over the GitHub repository, and that if he, without us doing anything else, I believe he can just go and call at, what was it again? What was that again?
No, he cannot.
No, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
I mean, he can do that, and then he has a never-ending running test, so the test
That's
never
right.
fails.
Yeah,
that is an option.
Yeah, okay.
But we could fix that anyway. I mean, this we could fix with 127, and then allowing him to do that.
Yes, but that would essentially be the only change we are making, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we say, well, then you can do this now, and that will work.
Or use the parameters.
Or just have a parameter on there.
Yeah, I can live with that. We should just state it very, very clearly in our documentation as well.
Yeah. So, but then again, I also think it's fine to have that change we have in the branch, where we by default include, I don't know if it's large enough. I think that would be this guy here. Oh, god damn it. Oh yeah, okay, so that's fine. To
Well, wait. That's
So
what.
no, that doesn't look right.
No, you're
Wait,
looking the
because we
diff
want,
between main and the branch, and not the
yeah,
branch and main.
yeah. That was the wrong direction. So
Yeah, this we can drop. That's nonsense. Or that's nonsense.
that doesn't add any value as far as I can tell. I guess maybe no, because we figured out that it can't be the base type. It has to be the
Exactly.
specific type, otherwise it doesn't work.
Well, what we could do is, again, we could just, if it's a supply from from query or from form, basically throw the exception that this way is not going to work.
So absolutely, I'm actually a big fan of that. So if you do something through the builder and you're trying to set it like that, and it doesn't have a parameter attribute, right? Then we throw an exception saying you want to do, get the navigation manager, navigate, and add that parameter to the thing, and then you can render your component, and then it will have the value passed to it. So that I like, because then we are just using exceptions to tell users what they're supposed to be doing. Now, all of this with dispatching and getting instead of getting test context based identified test, I think that is a really good idea still, because that allows us to add, where was that? This one here, and that one is needed.
Exactly.
So if we can clean the changes up that we've made a bit, keep the bits around we need, and I think most of it is definitely something like the
Well,
creative.
I guess like 95% of the changes are valid right now. The only things that in theory, 100%, this one has to be extended. The first one, exactly this part.
This one would
bit
be the one that needs changing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do that.
And just throw an argument exception with a long, good description of what to do instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you wanna share your screen again? I can flip it over.
Yes. So let's remove this here for the time being. We don't need any of those changes anyway. Agreed?
Yeah, I agree.
Everything we did today basically was just finding out where we want to go, and nothing of this is of any value for us.
Yes.
We could even argue if we need the tests later, but let's see.
No, I think it's fine to just keep it internal as it was originally.
Writer, please fix that. That's also something which is annoying me. Sometimes they keep like non-includes around, and I do not understand why, but okay.
Maybe just for my sanity's sake, can you remove line 51, the white empty line there? 51, just, yeah. There you go.
This just triggers me almost more.
Yeah, that's fine. Just you can remove that. No, that's fine. I agree.
I know. This is like just completely off the track.
Yes.
I want to go to the component parameter builder, collection builder. Sometimes I even have the name right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we added exactly this bit, and basically what we want is that's not that bad, to be honest.
No. Yes. Well, yes and no. So we do want to be more specific, because we don't want to look for. Yeah. So we're looking for the base type, and so we say anything that is that. Yeah. If it's right,
this one, and if not this one, that's perfect.
Yeah, but well,
the exception is not good. No. The exception is not good, but I mean the logic is good.
Yes, I agree actually. So yeah, we want to type out argument exception and basically say throw new argument exception and saying, hey, you are trying to do something that you shouldn't be doing. You should be doing this instead. So that would be
yeah.
Now, there is some edge cases here, right? Because it could be that the user actually has both a parameter and a supply from, and then we shouldn't be throwing an exception. We should just be.
Wait. That I thought that is catched early. Wait. That's true. If we could make an early exit basically here. If you know that.
Okay, no, the thing is on line 458, we're 450. Sorry, it's the resolution isn't great. We're saying get custom attribute, but we're only getting one. So we might say we probably want to say get custom attributes plural.
Well, we're checking it explicitly against this one. There's only
Yes, but
one. That's fair.
No. That's more than one.
Wait.
So in my example before, where I both have the parameter.
Wait, no, sorry. That's cascading. You will only
you're
have
right.
one cascading. The other one we
Would you
do
only
here.
What if you had more than one? What in theory you could both have a cascading parameter and a supply from. Right. So it could come from multiple places. I don't think it's illegal, honestly, to have something that's supplied from query, something that's supplied from cascading value, right? So you can have both. Let me just while you've I'm going to go back to my component one here.
Okay,
give me 1 second.
Okay,
Bear with
like
me. I
I
just
wanted to do
make
the
sure-
ostrich one. Like, okay, I don't really care. if that's the
cascading
case.
parameter, right? So,
Jesus.
so
I mean,
if
yes,
I do,
probably you can do that.
that would be
But I mean, it's super
value.
weird which has precedence over something else, you know, like it's so we know that parameter has the biggest priority, it seems. The thing is, if you do not
Right?
no, you need a name.
Yeah. Okay. Code, private string.
I don't know, you just need a name. The t value would be, you don't need this, as you said. I bet you can do that, yeah. I feel like your IDE
Value.
doesn't like it at all.
So there we go.
You need a
Let's-
name. You still need a name.
No, because it's unnamed.
Yeah, but sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry, my fault.
But no, it's complaining about something else. Sequence contain more than one element.
Yes. Awesome. We don't have to. We can even do that and also throw an exception if there's more than one.
Wait a minute. That is a very like if I'm a user Blazor developer and I'm trying to do something and I get this exception, that's not very helper friendly. Render synchronization, render component call. What are we doing? Set parameters directly. It is render process. Find cascading parameters. Find singular default. So it has an assumption that there's only one cascading parameter. Yes, okay, I give in. Only one is allowed. So that solves that problem. All right, well, now we know.
Well, we the problem is we could right now on ASP.NET Core on the GitHub tracker, but then for sure we have to support on .NET 9 multiple of those, and I don't want to do that. No, I don't
think
see a
it's fine to
reason.
say that should only be one. I do think
Yeah,
I would raise an
it's
issue
a
with
reasonable
the
assumption. The thing is, like, what should happen?
Well,
and then people are complaining about the order.
Yeah, I could see some scenarios where you might have something that comes from a query parameter, but then if that doesn't work, you have a fallback.
Well, the thing is, but you can, you are responsible for that. If there's a query parameter, you can, wrap it in a cascading parameter on your own and call it differently. So this should be really no problem. If you really want to enable that scenario, you are more than
No,
I know,
but
I
it's
know what
fine.
you mean.
I have no. I can, as you say, we can work around that for sure. Now, what
But that's true. So for us, it's like the thing is now we have a bit of a I don't want to say issue right now. What we always like the last 5 hours of our stream or 6 hours almost were solely on the supply from query parameter. But this line we will also hit when there's a supply from form.
Yes. So,
and I guess we didn't even check, but I don't think supply from form is working as well.
Let's do one at a time, but definitely we can.
Exactly. It was if you just, I would say, like, I don't know, adding is not.
So instead of having as an underscore, I would rather have an underscore which is a not implemented exception, and then you have the cascade supply from the explicit attribute. So
the thing is, I did this once, and now comes the issue that this one is fine. I mean, it doesn't matter, Throw new. I will show you in a second. Operation invalid. Yeah, not
No,
implemented.
it would be
We don't
no,
want.
that would be argument exception. So you would add the
Exactly.
argument exception there because now
Now comes the
we have
problem. I mean, you can do it like that because the
no,
sublime
you would just do underscore. You just do underscore.
Yeah, exactly. And then we know it's the form one because there isn't another one.
Or something else. I'm betting because this implements, in theory, people
Until
can create their own.
now. Exactly.
So the cascading parameter attribute base is public. So other folks could do their own versions if they were super advanced. And that would be fine with me having that's not an attribute we know of kind of a exception.
Yeah.
Because it is a new thing in .NET 8 that there's a cascading parameter attribute base type. That's something that was introduced there. So,
God, how was this? What I wanted to add is this attribute. Where you get the real value behind this. You know what I mean? It would be also a breaking change.
what
argument expression of
parameter?
Of parameter.
No, it's not a breaking change. It's additive. So
that's true. I would like that more than to have this because no one is help with that. Or maybe it is. Maybe I'm doing too much right now. You know where I'm driving at with that?
Yeah, so you can print out the full expression.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But no, I don't think you need to because we already have fairly robust if you remove that bit. So that would be a different thing. But we already have, as you can see here, the parameter selector. If you just do toString on the parameter selector, it will tell you which like this thing we can't actually, it should work fine. So just if you basically you have the line, what is it, 454? You can steal some of the juice from that. I think
454.
So you can see that with just the parameter selector, yada yada, does not, and it's.
But the parameter selector is literally that thing here. That's literally that. That's not
yeah, that's getting a specific value, right? So it would be something like, in our test example, it would be like p arrow p dot, what was it, value.
Exactly.
Or
we do this then?
But you can also go in and expect, if you want to have a specific name, you can go and find that, and you actually have that through I think there's other examples.
I guess this one works. Don't you get the expression as an expression string?
Well, yes, and you also get the name if you.
Yeah.
Well, that's my.
So let's okay. So let's throw an exception. Adding. Let's remove this here.
You might want to actually make a static method somewhere that so you have a bit more space to write out.
I can do this.
So that is, for example, assert bind target is correct. A method further down, and there is an example there where we on line 375. If you go down to that, there you go. And here we're doing special source because we want to see, well, you're trying to bind something, but you have to have it changed, like a thing that has the same name as the other one, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is sort of the same format I'm going for here. Basically saying, you have to go get the navigation manager, navigate to the thing you want to, and so on.
Jesus. Where's the stuff I wrote here? Throw new. Oh God. Live from. Oh. Oops. No one saw that. Supply. I didn't have it. Why don't I find it? Am I stupid? It was. Why couldn't I find it? I just wrote supply.
It's 455 or something. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's Friday. I had a long week. Okay, so that said, we can bring in here a function which is called get. get error message for something like that, huh? Query attribute.
I do think you want to change the code on line 453. There's an error message you have there where the parameter, that's 454 on your screen, yeah. Yeah. It should only include parameter cascading parameter, right? Not that bit there. Yes.
Or that's the plural of or.
Yeah. Can be an and or, but that's fine.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm nitpicky. So we want to have the parameter selector expression as parameter selector toString. With that, that's not enough. What we also need is basically this one, the name behind it. And now it gets a bit tricky. So, because normally what you want to do is either have the name of the attribute or a provided one. And the provided one would be inside this type here, like name mainly. So if I go here, for example, there is a, if I remove everything here because I don't need it anyway, as.name. Or so the rule is either you have your property name. So we have this here, property name, property info. Sorry, it's either property info name, or that's the other way around. Sorry, it's this way. Either you provide a name in the parameter, and if this isn't provided, you take the property info name. So probably we want to have the same logic down here in our error message, I would assume.
Yes. So essentially, we just want to show the code that you have in the test, right?
Exactly. That you have to use the navigation manager and
set, and then yeah.
Exactly. That's why if this is provided, I feel like we should also inform the user about that.
Yeah, and we can actually show them the right, well, almost.
Yeah,
I
almost,
do believe but I do believe when you do get, if you call the get query from something on the navigation manager, and you pass in something that isn't a string, it will UL encode it for you. So that's at least something.
Oh yeah? Okay, cool. Then I don't need this. Oh, I need this. Sorry. Then we have the parameter name, or the cascading parameter name, which is either this one. Oh, okay, maybe GitHub Code, but you get that point. This one I give you. Okay, and if we have this,
oh, yes, let's see.
No, there's a lot. No.
Oh, that's a
it
whole
started
bunch of,
so good. It was a lot of text. Okay, but anyway,
you can just, instead of having that method return a string, you can just have it, be a void, static void method, and just throw directly, like just. So just say, hey.
Where's property info name? I just need these two. I don't need everything here. That doesn't make. Oh no, I need this whole thing. Sorry, but here I only need the name.
Yeah,
I don't need this whole la di da. Can you?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you.
Guess you can pass it
automatically. Nah, yeah, I thought that's easy. I thought you can just say, add this stuff. But it doesn't. You see, okay. Then we have the property info. Oh, this is toString. This is just the name, which is of this one. Perfect. What's your deal? Don't want to return throw new argument exception because it's not used. Fair enough. Okay. What is the nice text? So we don't allow the or.
No, it's not about us. It's more that something like, so what we're trying to say is that you cannot pass parameters. Something by probably not have an attribute because people don't type out attribute. So passing a value to a supply parameter from query parameter value. Passing a value to a parameter is lowercase in this particular case because it's just a parameter. Is
It's not supported.
probably not supported, but you probably maybe just write it as like to pass a value to and then
pass a value to
use the let's see what it suggested.
Ooh. Well, I would make it on our own, to be honest.
It's gonna keep suggesting things for you.
Yeah, I just can we make environment new line? No. Nope. This one. And what we want is basically a navigation manager. So I wanna like give the examples. What should the user do? You know what I mean? Here I wanted to have at the end like something like navigation manager. Navigate. Oh, we had it somewhere. Didn't we have this in this test where I can steal it? Or I can even steal it from here. Yeah, exactly this one I need. The thing is, are we assuming that should we do something like no, navigation manager should be fine enough, huh? I was like, if we put this on the test context, necessarily people sometimes have this one and sometimes just have this one, depending if you inherit directly from the test context or not. But I do think this one is good enough, huh? If we say now here, let's steal that, get URI. And here we don't want to have some URI. What we want to have,
we can actually just take, because people have provided both connect like a selector, and they provided the value they wanted to pass in, likely, right?
Exactly. We can put this directly in here, huh? Probably I want to have this one. Then I want to escape this one. And we can make it beautiful later on. Another one. And then we have the this one. See? That should be the do trick. And then here, just not capable of writing any code here. And then we have the parameters. Here I don't want to have the. I want to have that value. So I want to I don't want to have the property info. What I want is the value, or that helps the most, I would argue. Did we have this around here? You know what? Then it's just property. Where's the property info coming from? From this one. But I want to have the selector though. Give me the selector. Give me the selector, and they are just pressing it. And what is property info? This is from this one. I need it anyway, so. Now it works. Now I can add one, but earlier I could not. That's a bummer. Okay. Do I need a property info now? Yes, I still need this. And I need the expression value, which would be our expression compile. And then invoke. Why can't I invoke it? What do you want? I want an argument.
You probably don't want to invoke it. You just want to you don't want to compile it. You just want to yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah. You want to
Wait.
yeah. It's an expression tree you can go and look at.
Wait. I wanna. Wait. I'm lost for a second because in theory we have this information. It's just not around to this method. What I want is the value. So if someone writes add foo bar, I want to set bar in there. That's what I want. That's what users have to do at the end. But this information obviously is here and not in here.
Yes, I think
it's rather
it
ugly.
might be. I think it might be overkill. To for now, just tell them the thing. Or you could pass the t value down as well if you like. That's fine into that method.
Yes, it feels ugly in the sense of that it's only used for one exceptional case.
Yes, that I do agree with.
And the problem is that yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's get down with it.
By the way, I got accepted to the KCDC conference.
KCDC.
Kansas City. No, I can't remember the name of it. It's in Kansas City, KCDC. It's a fairly big conference, it seems.
Oh, nice.
KCDC 2024. What's it called? I just know it as Kansas City, but it's a KCDC. It's a Kansas City Developer Conference. It's 26th to the 28th of June. First time I've been accepted to give 2 sessions at the same conference. So I don't know if they want me to give both.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, normally not multiple sessions get accepted.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they actually see speakers are often asked to present 2 talks during the event, but only rarely more than that. Yeah, okay. So yes, good thing it's sessions I've given before, so it's not completely, double the work from scratch. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And I just checked a flight times while you were hacking away at the code there, and it's 12 hours one stop layover.
Oh, that's nice though.
Yeah, well, I'm going to the MVP summit in a few weeks, and that's direct flight 8 hours to Seattle, which is farther away, but it's yeah, I hate layovers, but that's, I guess, the deal.
Okay, so we have value here. I finally made it work. Oh boy. By the way, we have to return a string. I'm very sorry.
No, you can actually add an attribute saying never returns, I believe.
That doesn't work. I tried this once. Never returns. Oh, may not return. How's it called? Never return. Does not return. Yeah, you see, he's still complaining.
Oh, okay. So do something else. Just return the exception instead of throwing it. So if you return an exception and write throw, so you basically rename and not return. Yeah, you want to say static argument exception or exception, and maybe change the name of it to create argument, yeah. And then add a throw in front of that one. Yep.
Yeah, then he's happy. I'm happy as well, though. So, and you? And then Mark should not return. Yeah, fair. That is true.
The compiler keeping us honest. That's nice.
So we have this one. Then we need here another plus, and then let's. Oh yeah, I have to use the URI and navigation manager. Navigate to URI. And probably then we want to show that the render is happening, huh? Afterwards. I don't need that. Thank you very much. And then we have like render component. Oh, let's call it a render, which is my component or so. So we don't have to adopt for V2.
But no, because that's not that we have to have that be render component. Right, because that method right now is only hit if you go through the builder pattern. So you don't get that exception unless you're using the builder pattern.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Wait.
I don't think we need
to. No. Isn't this the? Can I not?
No, but I think. No, I don't think. Do we even need to write that out? Just say and then.
Well, it's important that. Yeah, well, what I want to showcase with that is that you obviously this is setup code before you do your action. That's what I want to transpile with that. That
yes,
you cannot render a component and magically everything. Well, maybe magically everything works.
So, but I think it might be confusing to folks if they see that, but they have multiple parameters that they want us to pass, and they just see now you can just render a component without.
Okay.
So I think it's just fine to just say, hey, yeah, do you think instead of doing /n, just do environment new line, so we are sure it's compatible with all sorts of environments. There we go.
Expression new line, please.
So you could also just do, instead of doing those kinds of strings, you can just do the what's it called, raw string literals.
Raw string literals.
Yeah, and with $sign in front, and then you can mix and match. So if it's three of those, and yeah.
Exactly this.
And then you don't need the new line stuff either.
Exactly. Then I need this one. Jesus.
And you have an in-string character you want to remove there. Exactly.
And then this one. Awesome.
Semicolon, all the things.
I don't get what you want. Isn't that correct?
I think it's fine. Yeah,
awesome.
No, that's still 2 errors according to the editor, though.
Yeah, that's up here. But this is like add value, and here initial value. Go, look at this. How beautiful! And here, why is this?
It's because it now takes.
No, add we did
ambiguous. It's an ambiguous reference, so there's multiple.
Yeah, the expression of func, but there's not multiple of expression of func of t value. Well, t value could be also an action. It could be this one.
Yeah.
It could be this one. Yeah, it could be any of those. That makes sense. But
that is an untyped version, and that is probably the one we want to reference. So an untyped version is the one that takes a string.
There's an untyped.
So I think it says there's an untyped version of.
Oh.
And it's just it takes that's basically one that I think it's called.
We can take care of it later. There was always like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. So think it's
Okay.
referencing. I think it's called add. What's it called? Add. It's called add. I think it has a different name though. Add unmatched, I believe. Yes, add unmatched should be the thing that we want to point at.
It's not supported might be the wrong case. It's not like it's not support. Well, it is not supported. If you use something like your own cascading parameter basis, or alternatively, you use the supply from form that is currently really not supported.
That's to do for us, I guess.
I would even do right now not support the exception to transpire that it is really not supported.
Yeah. You want to fix that other warning in the code?
Which one?
The one
this
that.
One is it.
Yeah.
This one.
So yeah, that is an untyped version. Just type instead of having it say add. Because what we're trying to say there is that there is an untyped version of this method. So so if you say there's an untyped version of this method named add, so there is an untyped version of this method. Yeah, so remove the reference you see there.
Well, but this is correct because you want to see this is you say here this is the type version, and on the right one you have the untyped version.
Yeah, I think it's fine not to have that. Like if it's still complaining about being, just say of this method. So there's an untyped version of this method. So add of this. Yeah, you have a method too many in that line.
There is untyped version of untyped version.
There you go.
Okay, why is he still? Oh, it's like, why is he still complaining? Please stop complaining. Perfect. Okay, that said, I mean, we can write our test we had initially. We can now use to check if it's working.
We want a test that checks if we throw that exception.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have this test because it was part of the branch, wasn't it? I just cannot remember how I called that test. Feature. Oh, easy. Thank you. Maybe we should squash our.
Yeah. Or just rewrite them. I think that's potential. Yeah, no, it is sort of there's two changes here, really. There is a change where we enable. So that test is fine. Basically, we are.
Yeah, sorry, no, I wanted to remove that.
No, but we still want a test that says that, hey, we can actually provide, values through the navigation manager. That's a fine test. That's good enough. We want a test that says if you try to do it in a different way, we're gonna tell you to go away. And try again.
That's why you never do live coding. I don't like live coding because it takes so much practice beforehand. I did this once and it takes a lot of time, and just having some some slides ready with code and make it a bit interactive, I found it's way better for me. We have this component. I don't need render component though necessarily because it doesn't matter, but yeah, let's take it. Render component, supply component. Yes, to add.
Yeah, should throw argument exception.
I'm not a big fan of necessarily checking, but I guess it makes sense here to check the message, to be honest.
You can no, I agree, but we can do a slight sanity check by just asserting that the message is something different than what we expected to, just so we see it. But
Yeah. Did I run the test? No, I did not. That's on me. Sorry. It's building. That's why. Remove this unused parameter. That cannot be. What did I? Why is that unused? Wait. Yeah. For .NET 7.6.5.3, obviously that's unused. Well then, let's make a if def around that as well, huh? Oh, that's so ugly. If if that's 8. Oh, stop it.
Sorry, I'm just texting my wife. She's asking questions about screen time and Xbox and.
Wait, what's the? So that looks rather ugly. And the next problem is that all the occurrences I also have to fix.
Yeah.
But if not, net 8 operator, and we just remove that. Else and if. Awesome. Oh god. Jesus. I cannot tap that. I can tap that. Easy. Value. And there was another occurrence of this get parameter info, wasn't there?
Why? So are you only needing that for .NET 8? Why am I not just passing it in for all the other cases as well?
The problem is I pass it in for all the cases, but it's unused in other cases.
Oh, and then
And then our beautiful. I mean, it doesn't make sense to inform us that there are unused stuff because it's just clutter. So
yes,
I do like that, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. But it is annoying. But it does help enforce coding standards, and it does ensure that things keep working.
And on the plus side, we remove this code anyway. So to be defined.
Yeah, but for .NET, I think I want to redo the merge v1 into v2
exactly.
because with a rebase instead, so that we don't accidentally.
I'm not sure if we can easily do that. To be honest, the thing is that we already merged main into v2.
Well, it should be fine.
Yeah, no.
So my understanding is when you do a rebase, it will apply all the things from v1 before.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I'm questioning if this is possible. The thing is, if you do a rebase with merge commits in the history, you would have a cycle because you go always back, and you go back, you go back.
I don't. I think so. I think it should be fine. But we can
put
that on then. Yeah, next Friday. Spoiler alert. Yeah, the exciting YouTube show where people are merging things or rebasing. Yeah.
So
I do promise lots of cursing. So definitely, yeah.
I like that.
You what you can do is you can just break the test by maybe saying and message should be something, and that
isn't there an expected message?
I don't know.
Actual.
No, that's a custom message, but that's the error, like assertion message. You can do a dot after online, so that should throw returns. And then you can see message should be, and just do should be empty, and it will give us a error. If you run the test now, it'll so we can actually see what the output is. I think it's also fine to actually validate the message. Honestly,
where's my? I have this filter in here. Like I wanted to blame again. Like, all right, I'll fix that. Here, this one, huh? Oh, how is that? Wait, 1 second at a time. That was That looks exactly what we want. I do like that.
To pass
I
a
do.
value to produce the navigation manager, navigate to the UL,
Not to the.
to the maybe add additional white space after that line. Maybe instead of have a colon, just say period and then, for example.
Darn. Terminate. Yeah, danke. Like
and
that,
then
huh?
an empty line, so it's sort of broken into, yeah. So here's some code.
Okay, awesome. I'm scared. Why is that not working anymore? What did we change? I don't like that. Ah, I don't like that it was red. Yeah, even executed, it seems. Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's not do the synergy. I'm not a big fan. So recently I did for the client I'm working for, we did a bigger refactoring. And the problem is we had so many red tests because they were like checking internal error messages of .NET itself. And obviously they changed over time, and that there was like so many red tests. And it was a bit, I wouldn't say annoying, but the logic was working.
That is breaking my number one rule, is that you don't depend on things in your test that you don't own, right? And if you're asserting against assertion messages coming from third-party libraries or Microsoft stuff, then you are not doing it right. In this particular case, we could do it because it's literally our own assertion method.
Exactly, we could do that.
So
and
so
I
you
do
could
agree to a certain extent that if you have your own code, and especially it's you want to help out and it's a bit longer, it might make sense. Especially in our case, where we even the message itself isn't static. We have a dynamic message depending on your input, as you can see here.
So,
you
but
could
yeah, one
argue.
thing you want to do is you don't want to repeat the message code. You want to just type it out as it is, just like with the raw string literal. So you
exactly. We can do that.
So pass that in and just do dot message should be, and then raw string literal it. And then do it without interpolation. So that would be, I guess, in this particular case, it's query and then foo. Yeah.
Please build. Thank you. Gracias.
So we are also getting right to the end of our time today. I can see the number of messages I'm getting from the families starting to pick up. You might want to remove the white empty line on 1727. Yeah, just move that. There you go. But let's just fix the whip. You can just rewrite the Git history and just put it into a single.
Yeah.
I would just squash.
Can I make it bigger here? You will see it in a second. Sorry, it's small, and I have no idea how to make this larger.
Isn't just a control scroll wheel on the mouse if you have one of those, or just like pinch zoom?
Yeah, I try. Like I use my camera.
But go up to the view menu on the terminal. I think you have bigger.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I want to squash that and I want to reword that. Let's go. I always keep forgetting rewording is afterwards. Anyway, good. I don't have to use reword because squashing is already so feature. What we did, support cascading kinds. No, supplying parameters as.
Oh, before you save, we want to update the changelog as well. Might as well put that all in one.
Yeah, I will amend that commit. It doesn't matter.
Sure. Yeah.
Support supplying parameters as query string. That's good enough, huh?
Sure, and maybe add a new line and then add a fixes and then the issue from our user. I can't remember what is the issue number. Fixes.
1368. Yeah, so it automatically closes the.
Exactly, it marks it when we merge it in. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What do you want from me? Now it's. I should have not used rewording because you reword anyway. Okay, now we have the change log. Change log. So folks, that's really a cool thing if you have a change log with. Where's the text? Either you have it like this, which is kind of partially manual, or you use it via the conventional Git messages. It's super easy to create. I would call it edit. It's fine here.
It's under fixed, I guess, right? Fixed added. Well, is it?
We don't have fixed. We have changed and fixed. You could argue it's both.
That's changed, fixed, added.
It worked. From a user's point of view, it's fixed because it worked with .NET 7. So it doesn't make really sense to call it edit. It was there already.
Exactly.
Oh, that was even correct. No, that's not correct. But
oh, reported by AJ.
I don't know.
AJ Chen.
I don't want to in other words try to pronounce names. I'm normally very, very bad with that.
Yeah, but thanks AJ for raising the issue.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
But I would, by the way, if it's fine for you, I would not merge that right now. Off stream, I would like to add the documentation in this commit, but I can do this later.
Yeah, we need to have the docs in place. We need to have the changelog. We need and I guess we might as well create a follow-up investigate issue where we say what about form.
Exactly, I would like that. Okay, that fits. Fix might be right. We will see later. Amend that beautiful commit. Exactly. Okay, that is good. With that push force, I guess we are done for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we will. I guess we can. The aftermath we can discuss the next time. I hope we get it merged until then, because it's just documentation work.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 paragraphs. One paragraph in the right section, so it should be fairly quickly to just hack that together. And let's get a release going. Also, we have that other iKey service provider support that we are waiting to release anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right now, if you just as an information, if you're relying on iKey service provider, there is a preview version out, but obviously folks are preferring stable releases rather than preview releases.
I think it's fine to merge it into main and create a preview release so we can have AJ test it out on his side, see if it works for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then we can do docs.
Exactly. In theory, we could also do the docs. We could have a real release and do the docs on stable and make a back merge into. But I feel this is a bit ugly.
Yeah, no, so our own little checklist there kind of wants us to do the docs too. But I guess I was more inclined to just merge it in so that we can have a pre-release so he can test it out or they can test it out.
Yeah, it's just let's make more not a task because otherwise we cannot merge it. No, it's just like that we know that. Can I not write that? That's funny. Grammarly does not work on. It's only GitHub. This is the only thing where it seems like Grammarly doesn't work. Anyway,
is it? I think you need an AE in there. I think isn't it spelling? So it works on my machine.
Separate. Yeah, I have to click on. Normally you have this inline hints, but maybe it's Mac and Chrome. I don't mind. Doesn't matter. I request this directly from you. Create a request.
I will. go and approve. Oh, we also have an add my review.
Well, we might want to wait until the CI is done, huh?
Sure, I can approve anyway, but it should be built
That's
in.
fair.
If it worked on your machine, so that should be good enough, right?
Well, that's true. And the action before, just that we are on the same side, the action before, where was it? No, this is when I released it. Somewhere here, here? VIP? I thought that I should see the CI of the, because I tested this locally until it was working. You know, when I removed the test renderer from the container, I can't find it anymore. Can I not just somehow filter workflow runs here by branch? Oh, yeah, exactly. Feature. Yes, go. I guess because I force pushed it, the history is gone. It seems very much likely because I explicitly run. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I went off topic.
I am just looking at. We do have a pipeline run that failed with froze after async operation exception test.
Oh, Jesus.
Not
the
again.
favorite kind.
Yes.
Didn't we remove one of those? I thought
it failed on Windows,
that.
but not on Linux and Ubuntu. We'll see how it behaves. Anyway, let's call it a day. I do believe. Well, let's see what the 23rd. So let me just check my calendar. So 1st of March. Yeah, there shouldn't be anything preventing me. The week after, I will. No, actually, 2 weeks later, the
You're not
15th.
in.
I'm at the MVP Summit.
Yeah.
And flying home that day. So,
nice.
But yes, definitely
Perfect.
on for the next 2 weeks, and let's see if we can make even better splash screens for the next times.
I like that.
What is YouTube thumbnails?
Perfect.
But yeah. Anyway, thank you everybody for hanging with us and coding with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.